Another story of Swami Satchidananda is how he found his guru. So Swami Satchidananda had a few gurus, one of them from the lineage of Ramakrishna, Swami Chit Bhava Nanda Ji Maharaj. If you can imagine having such a long name, not as catchy as Sadguru or Ravai Shankar, Sri Ravai Shankar, no, not as catchy as Osho, but that was his name. And he was a direct disciple of Sivananda, the Ramakrishna Sivananda, who was a direct disciple of Ramakrishna. So he was third generation from Ramakrishna, and he lived in isolation for many years, in complete renunciation, but then disciples started together, and Swami Satchidananda was one of the first 4 disciples there, and that was for his formation. It was not yet him dedicating himself fully to a guru. And then he met 2 liberated masters. He met Sri Aurobindo, and Aurobindo was very, very fond of him and gave him a huge blessing. Satchidananda knew this is not his main guru. And then he went to meet Ramana Maharshi just before Ramana Maharshi left his body in the early 50s. He is totally impressed by Aurobindo and Ramana. They are liberated beings, and he's completely amazed by them. But it is not his path. He does witness, as a very beautiful, slightly painful testimony, he witnesses Ramana's operation. So Ramana had cancer spreading from his arm. He didn't want an operation. The disciples bugged him. Yeah, Ramana, like Ramana, he said, fine, if you guys want to operate this body, operate it, but I'm not taking anesthetics. So there we have an operation without anesthetics. And Swami Satchidananda was witnessing the whole thing. So they're cutting his arm out and cutting his cancer. I just recently had one here with anesthetics. I just had an operation with some thyroid removed a month ago. And in that tremendous pain, Ramana is talking calmly to his arm, and he says, poor arm, you're in a lot of pain. I told them I don't want the operation, but they forced me into it. Poor arm, you are in so much pain. He stayed completely calm, completely beyond all instincts and all identification with the body, and it served as one of the last testimonies. It was just a short time before he passed away, as one of the last testimonies of his supreme accomplishment. So he loved Ramana, he loved Aurobindo, he loved many of the teachers that he had, and he was a great karma yogi and a great practitioner. He had many periods in isolation, and then in the 50s he was ready to meet his master. For a long time he was reading the books of Swami Sivananda, and he kind of knew this will be his master. So he travels to Rishikesh and goes to the Divine Life Foundation, and he is imagining another Ramana Maharshi, very silent, very still and detached, saying just a few words, leaving an imprint, very non-personal. And then as he approaches the house where Sivananda stays, early morning, 6 a.m., and he hears a very loud laughter. Everybody's laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. And he gets there and he sees this giant. Sivananda was very tall, more than 6 feet tall, and big, wide, was wrestling and running and so forth. It was a huge man. And together with the Swamis, they are making jokes, 6 a.m., and the whole neighborhood can hear them laughing. He looks at him and he knows, I have found what I have searched for all my life. And he falls, like a good Indian, falls flat on his face with his arms down. For several minutes he is like that, bowing down to his future guru that's still making jokes there. And in between the jokes, Sivananda touches him and invites him to get up. Asks him, why is he here? He says, well, I've come to realize God, I've come to realize the highest and to dedicate myself to the path. And Sivananda says, yes, it's fine. You don't need to search anymore. You found your home. You don't need to wonder. Everything you need, you will receive here. And he says, I've come to find my Supreme Guru. I've come to find you. And Sivananda tells him, well, now you see me. Do you like me? Satchidananda says, I was so puzzled. I could not imagine that the master asks me, well, do you like me? And he says, yes, very, very much. And he sends him off to his room. And in the evening, in the gathering, there was about 80 people living in the ashram and maybe 300 people that would come every day to eat in the ashram. Sivananda tells him, come, say some words. Say some words in front of everyone. He's a little shy and he says, no, don't be shy. Go and speak. Whatever you like, speak. And he shares how amazing it is to have a master like that embodies the supreme realization and yet is so close, so casual, so warm, so humble, so connected. And so he has found his guru, and it's very beautiful to see that it is just, he was preparing and preparing and preparing for quite some years, more than a decade, to find his master. And even he found masters who I think everybody would agree they are no lesser. It's not the Aurobindo and Ramana are no lesser than the great Sivananda. But still, they were not his. Sivananda was his own. And when they met, they both knew that he is home. And indeed, under Sivananda's guidance, Swami Satchidananda reaches, and he has very beautiful testimonies of the revelation of the self and of the highest accomplishments in yoga under Sivananda's guidance and through his grace. If you like this video and want to learn more about Tantra, about yoga, about psychology, emotional healing, lives of saints and the scriptures,
then hit the bell, like, subscribe, and you'll never miss an upload. Thank you so much.